So before we start, I just want to mention that we've launched a new course on my Patreon where we're gonna take a look at how I created these beautifully perfumed shots in Blender from start to finish. I'll be guiding you through the entire process from modeling, texturing, and lighting, and the focus will be more on the texturing and the lighting to see how we can make our glass material looks clear and what is the perfect lighting setup, and catching up on how I retexture the hand and the ground, and sharing a lot of valuable tips and tricks. By joining, you're gonna get access to all the assets and the project files so that you can follow along and start practicing. So if you want to take your work to the next level, feel free to check out the link in the description. And just to let you know, there is a lot coming out. We are launching a product animation next month. Stay tuned. And now let's dive in. Alright, so now let's start modeling. So as we do always, Shift A and add image, reference, load up your reference, scale it down, G, and move it up. Go to the side menu and drop the opacity just like that. Alright, and try to put your bottle in the center, just like that. Alright, make sure also to check the top view. Alright, so we're gonna start by adding a circle with half vertices, as you see, like by default I think it's 32, like divided by 2. I'm gonna give it, it's gonna give you this number. S, scale everything down, G, move it up, S and down, like some really basic newbie modeling technique that I'm gonna use. So extrude one more time, extrude one more time, S and scale. Maybe I think I'll delete this one. Alright, move this one down, take this one, extrude it again, G, move it down, extrude, S, scale, extrude, G, move up, S, scale, F to fill this face. Alright, so I'll take this edge, I'll extrude it, I'll add a loop cut in here. Or let me take this one closer to here, also this one closer to here, extrude, take this one, S and scale it. Maybe I'll adjust this one and scale it, Control B and add bevels, just like that. Next I'll be adding subdivision surface to smooth this. 2 levels will work fine. I'll select this 2 edges, Control B and add bevel, just like that. Select this face, Control plus to increase the selection, and S and scale, just like that. Or you don't need to increase the selection. You don't need to increase the selection actually. I'll just scale this one, just like that. Alright, take everything and I'll scale it a little bit. So I'll select this edge, Control B and add some bevels, just like that. Alright, select this bottom edge, Control V and add bevels in here. Cool, and add some bevels also in this corner to sharpening this edge, like some really newbie modeling technique. Alright, nothing fancy. Same thing, Control B, and you are ready to go with your model now. Alright, so I'll steal an edge in here. Where is that? This one. Shift D, duplicate it, move it up. P, separate by select. Go to edit mode, A to select all, S and scale. Move it down, extrude, make it a little bit bigger, extrude again. Let's decide the subdivision for now, and S, scale it down, extrude. Maybe I think let's scale this a little bit more. Let's take this one, extrude it, S, scale it, G, move it a little bit up, just like that, extrude, Ctrl plus, increase the selection, scale everything a little bit down, F, fill, and now Ctrl B and add bevels. Make sure to check the face up in here. Back to the subdivision, shade auto smooth, go to edit mode, select this edge and this edge and this edge, these three edges. You know what, let's deselect this one, Ctrl B for these two, select the top one, Ctrl B again, select this one, Ctrl the inner one, Ctrl B, and you are done with the modeling. Delete the reference. So before we move on to the texturing, let's create the liquid. So for this one I'll add a solidify modifier, alright, and hit slash the solo my object. Now we have this thick mesh, so you can see, control the thickness. Good, so I'll apply the solidify modifier. I'll go to edit mode by pressing tab. In the face mode, I'll select this face, then press X and faces. Now we have this two separate mesh. Like you can set your mouse hover on top of this L, and this will automatically select it. Oh, I always forgot. So select it. Same thing in here. L, automatically select. P, separate by select. Alright. So select the inner one, hit slash 2 times this time. Go to edit mode, and then select these top vertices, X, and delete vertices. Take this one, G twice, drag it down, F and fill, E, extrude, E again, and again. Yeah. Now we just create the liquid. Really easy. So now we are going to create the pipe. So I'll go to edit mode, I'll select this edge, shift S, cursor to select. With that, the cursor will snap automatically in the center. So we are going to add an circle, yes, with the half vertices, or let's do 8. Yeah, 8 vertices. Select this, go to edit mode, S, scale it down, just like that. E, extrude, slash F and fill, Control B, and add bevels. You can also scale that if you want. Alright, so add subdivision, surface, 2 levels, and shade auto smooth, and this is it. This thing will not be visible, so don't worry too much about it. Alright, if you like, I need to make it a little bit thinner, so So I'll scale it, I'll take it a little bit down. Okay, we can always go back and forth. We are in 3D. Alright, now let's bring up the bottle. Alright, so I'll move this one up just like that. I'm gonna start with the body. Like the texturing for this bottle, it's really simple, and we can go always back and forward when we're gonna be creating the scene, so don't worry too much about it. Add the new material, a glass, to this one, and I give that some roughness and some playing with the IOR also, just like that. Select the liquid, same thing, and a glass PSTF, and also the IOR if you need. Alright, same thing for this one, a glass PSTF, the IOR, a little bit of roughness I think for this inner part. Yes. For this upper thing, we are going to add simple principle PSTF with the metallic almost up and or a little bit of roughness. Alright, just like that, and we are done. Maybe I'll give to the liquid a bit of a blue color, just a tiny bit, just like that. You will not even notice the difference. Increase the saturation. Yes, just like that. Probably this one will work. Now I think we are going to add the label. Alright, select the body slash to solo your mesh. We are going to hit Shift A, add image reference, find this label in the link down below. This label, it has the back, the front and the back view. We are just going to use the front view, so I'll scale it down. For example, if it's that one that annoying, it's scale from here, GUI, move it to the side. Alright, hold shift and place the 3D cursor in here, like hold shift, left click and control the 3D cursor. Or you can go to here, switch to this and place the 3D cursor anywhere you want and go back to this one. Alright, and now make sure to switch the 3D cursor to act as a pivot point and scale now down, just like that. Move it a little bit down. One more thing, yeah, just like that. I'll drop the opacity on this one, almost visible. Select the bottle, shift and go to edit mode, tab, go to edit mode, select these faces, this one and this one, like that. Alright, and Shift D to duplicate it, P and separate by select. Take this reference, delete it. Before we do anything, select the image that we just duplicate, remove this material and add new one. Alright, just like that. So go to the edit mode, I'll add a loop cut by pressing Ctrl R, G twice and move it up. Ctrl R, add loop cut, G twice, move it down. Same thing to this side. Same thing to this. Alright. And now let's hit Shift A and image texture. Take the same label, right? The color into the base color. And split this view and then switch to the UV editor. Tap to go to edit mode, A to select all, and U Q projection. Not Q projection this time. I'm gonna just unwrap it. U and unwrap. Alright. Select these two edges, G, and moving to the side like that. Alright. Now if we see the label it's facing the wrong direction, let's add first shrink wrap, and then you're gonna notice a difference. Select the bottle to be the target and add solidify modifier. Take the thickness down and shade auto smooth, and you have it. So if we see now the label it's faced the wrong direction, like if you try to rotate it in the UV editor, to not be always facing the wrong direction. Alright, so press S, X and -1 in your numpad, or you can just press Ctrl M, X, and that will fix it. So feel free to choose whatever you want. I feel like the label is a little bit bigger. Let's scale it a little bit down, just like that, and make sure that it's on medium point. Scale it just a little bit down. Alright, now we are, and now let's work on the texturing. I'll add a color ramp, like basic stuff. I didn't like the color like this black text. I'll give that a gray, slightly gray. Let me increase the strength. Alright, just like that. You can pick any color you want. For example, you can pick green, which is awful, but yeah. Alright, I want the sticks now to have some bump, basic bump. And yeah, now the text is engraved. To invert it, you can just press this invert, and that will be the case, and that's it. So let's add the hue saturation node after this one to control the brightness. As you see, this is without it, this is without it. Yeah, that's it for the label texture. Like this is the node tree if you want to take a screenshot or something. And now I think we are ready to take this into the scene. See you on the next one. So for this one, we're gonna start by adding a plane. So Shift A, add the plane, and we're gonna scale it. So open the side menu. Here in the dimensions, I'm gonna give this 20 on the X and 14 on the Y. Like the ideas they have, I want to place this bottle like on an environment with some hills and some sandy, not sandy, like crystally ground. So to create those hills, we're gonna use the displacement modifier. So if you go to the modifier tab and search for displacement, you're gonna find this one and press this new, go to here, and we're gonna use the cloud. So find clouds and turn the scale all the way up. Like now if we see, nothing happened because we only have 4 vertices, so we need more geometry. So A to select all and subdivide one time, open this menu. I'm gonna give this around 13 loop cuts. Yeah, just like that. And now if we go back to object mode, you're gonna see something happening, but not that much because we didn't apply the scale. So as you see, so Control A and apply the scale. Now we have more details. Alright, go back to the modifier tab and add subdivision, surface, and left click, shade smooth, turn this to 2. Like if you want to keep it like that, nothing wrong, but I prefer to have more details on my ground, so I'll move the subdivision above the displacement. Also, I'm gonna adjust the strength of the subdivision. The strength of the displacement is just a little bit, just like that. Alright. So Shift A at the camera, 0 to go to the camera view. Like I think now you are already familiar with the basic shortcuts. So yeah, and I'll move it just like that. Like in the camera, instead of having this option of perspective, we're gonna use the orthographic one. And if you try to move it, like as you see, like it's just clipping. As you see, like it starts clipping. Like you can control it from the orthographic scale in here. Alright, so this is how you can control it. And move it a little bit back. So I'll move it a little bit up, just like that. And as you see, we still have those clippings in here, even if we turned the clipping start all the way down. We still have those clippings. Like I didn't know how to get rid of it, so I just trick it. So you moved the ground on the x-axis, they go to edit mode, and I select, but let me just, like if you press this button on the displacement, you can see it in edit mode. So I'll take this edge, I'll extrude it, and I'll move it down. Yeah, just like that. This is how I get rid of this clipping. Alright, easy peasy. Like if you move it like if you move it forward, if you move it back, or if you move it forward, it starts clipping again, so just keep it like that. Also, now I'm gonna try to find a perfect spot for my shot. I think I'm gonna stay in here for now. Like if you see, if you still have a problem with those low quality details, you can add another subdivision surface after the displacement. Alright, but I'll keep it like that. It's good, it will not be visible. Now let's add an area light to just see what's happening in the scene. So increase the strength of the light a little bit. And now I'm gonna be splitting my view and switch to the shader editor, and we're gonna start texturing the ground. So select the ground, press this new button, and we're gonna use a snow texture. If you have no Angular add-on enabled, Control Shift T and find your texture. Alright, just like that. Like deconnect displacement, we don't want it. And yeah, like you see, we have those weird UVs. So go to edit mode, tab view, A to select all, and view, and project from view, just like that. Also, you can control the scale in here. So take this, maybe 5 on the scale. Yeah, I think it's perfect. Next, I'm going to add our background. So Shift A, add a plane, rotate that, and G, X, move it back, and scale it, move it up. Shift S, cursor to select, add an area light to create a gradient background. Scale it on the Y. I'll select the plane and I'll give it a translucent BSDF. Alright, I'll place the light and I want the light to come from the bottom, so I'll just rotate that, then move it down, just like that. And for the colors, I'm gonna give it same color of the ground. So select the light in here, press this eyedrop and select part in here, go back to this, increase the value and play a little bit with the saturation, maybe give it more saturation. Yeah, I'll keep it like that for now. Next, I feel like the ground needs to have some saturation, so select it, I'll add a hue saturation node, I'll give it some value, alright, then increase the saturation a little bit, just like that, and increase the strength a little bit. The light, I feel like it's looks a little bit dark, so yeah, perfect. So in this part we're gonna add particles, but as you see, like I tweaked the position of the ground a little bit to find a perfect spot, and I almost forgot to mention to add some subsurface in the texturing, just a little bit, it's not necessary. And also, like, let's add another pump node, switch, and let's add a pump node, like always stealing some details from the base color, it helps. So take the base color into the height, normal to normal, and normal to normal again, take the distance to 0.01, and you got it. And this is the before and after, nothing fancy, but it's a good that it's pale, like you're gonna notice it more in this part. So to add particles, select the ground and press this plus button. Now if you press play, you're gonna have particles falling down because the gravity is enabled. So go to the scene properties and disable gravity. Now if you press play, they'll move up because of the velocity. So go to velocity in here and take this to 0. Now if you press play, 2 will start appearing in a different time, like you want them all in the first frame. So select it, go to the frame start and end, and give this 0. Now they are all in the frame number 0, and they will disappear in the frame number 15, as you see. Because the lifetime in here is 15, you can increase it to whatever, for example 100, and take the timeline to 100, and now they will stay all the time. Now we have this hollow object, they rendered as a hollow object. We need an actual mesh, so we are going to add a shift A and add an icosphere. I'm gonna give it like 1 level, and we're gonna start deforming it. So I'll select a vertex in here and try to make a weird shape with that. It doesn't need to be perfect, just keep tweaking. Scale that, scale it. Alright, I think just like that. So back to the ground, now cool. And now go to render as, select object, and select this eyedrop, like press this eyedrop and select your object. Now we have the icosphere scattered in the ground, like it's have the same rotation and scale. So to change that, like first go to source and check this, use modifier stack. Alright, and go back now to the rotation. Where is it? Rotation, enable it, and turn the randomization. Randomize a little bit, and the phase. Like now they have random rotation, which is awesome. Alright, also like they are big. To change the scale, you can go to render and scale and turn the scale all the way down, just like that. You can also turn scale, randomize to give them randomized scale. Okay, I think I'll scale them a little bit, just like that. Alright, like increase, if we increase the number just like that, you're gonna see that like this whole ground is start having particles, like, which is not good because the viewport will be slow and everything. So we need to assign a vertex to tell Blender where to scatter the particles. So to do that, select the ground, go to edit mode and shift Z and box select only the part that it's visible. Like as you see, this is the only part that it's visible, and go to the vertex group and press this plus button and hit this assign. Like with your vertex still selected, hit assign. Now if you hit selected, you're gonna see it that the vertex group is assigned. Alright, to apply it, go to the particles, down in the vertex group, you're gonna find the density and choose your group. Now the particles are scattered only on the part that we assign. Like as you see, they have this grid effect. To remove it, select the ground and go to, where is that? Yeah, source, change it to random, and the problem is solved. Yeah, they might need to be a little bit scaler, so feel free to go back to the scale and scale it. Like if it still looks big, if they still look big, you hit the minimum scale in here. You just need to select your object, but make sure to scale it on edit mode. So select your object, go to edit mode and scale it down, and scale it a little bit, just like that. It's like if you find the perfect angle for you, you can select the ground and go to the modifier tab and press this icon, and now you can select like you can add a new vertex group and start selecting only the parts that it's visible in the camera, like only the parts that it's visible in the camera. I think we're gonna end up with something like that. Just make sure like the box, like this part, because you see I'm trying to only select those parts, and I think now, like, yeah, only the part that it's visible from the camera, and hit this assign button, and we can go back to the particles and change the density to the group that we just created. As you see, now the particles is only in the part that it's visible in the camera. Perfect. I think I'm gonna increase the numbers. I don't know, like let's multiply that by 2 and see this is going to happen. Multiply it again by 2. I think it's a good number to start. So for the texturing for our particles, I'm gonna select it and press this new button, and let me just take the number, divide that by 2. Yeah, and I'm gonna add an object info node. Like what this object info node, like if you have node wrangler add-on element, control shift to preview the texture, go all the way down to random. Like you're gonna see that each particles has a different color. For example, this one have black, gray, white, like from white to black, and we can use that as a mask to create different colors. So we are going to add another principal BSDF. I'm just gonna duplicate this one and add a mix shader. Take this shader into the surface, and we're gonna use this random as a factor, and I'm gonna take the metallic on the first shader and give that like a blue color. Let me try to use the same one for the light. So Control C, go back and Control V. I'm gonna take the saturation a little bit, also the roughness, and take that and plug it into the first. Also this one, for example, I'll give it a dark, not a dark, la. I'm gonna increase the emission on this one a little bit. Plug it in here. Now as you see, we have some particles that has the emission and some that has the metallic shader. Like to add the more control, we can add a color ramp. Plug it in here and control how many particles you want to have the emission straight. Like this white slider, control the bottom one, the black, control the top. So as you see, and I'm gonna take this one. I think just like that, it's good for now. Also, I'm gonna increase the roughness or decrease it. I can always come back to this. I can keep tweaking. You cannot find the perfect thing in the first attempt, so keep tweaking. Let me see, I'll increase the number, I'll multiply that by 5. Like for example, if like I have now in here, I don't know how many numbers, but if I go to the viewport and display, I can take this to 10%. Like this number will still rendered, like the number of the particles will still rendered, but only in the viewport I can see the 10% of this number. I hope you get what I say. Alright, I think now it's done with the particles. We can move on to the lighting, but one thing, you need always to be in the frame number 1, because if you are in the frame number 0, you cannot see the particles in the render view. Like if you press F12 and render, or if you go to, what is that, yeah, render, you cannot see it. You need always to go on the frame number 1. And for example, if you did an adjustment for the displacement, for example, you change the scale or whatever, okay, you can always enter, go to edit mode, get out, and the particle will be adjusted. Not adjusted, like, what is the update? Yeah, the particles will be updated. So always like enter to edit mode, go back, make sure you are always in the frame number 1, and make sure that the lifetime of your particles is set to like a higher number. Also make sure that your object is applied the scale on it, like as you see, Control A, apply the scale. Like always apply the scale on your object, like I almost forgot. Like also the ground. So yeah, and make sure to check the use modifier stack. Like I'm saying this thing because when I'm working on this one, like I'm working the hit render, I cannot see the particles. What is the problem? Like I'm checking everything is correct, like select this one. I found it, scale is not applied, or I am in the frame number 0. So make sure to do that, and that's it. I'll catch you on the next one. So before we move on to the lighting, let me just do some adjustment to the camera. So select it, camera properties, and increase the focal length. Also play with the shift Y a little bit, just like that. Alright, and I want the angle to be from the side, so I'll select the empty, shift S, cursor to select the camera dot 3D cursor as a pivot point, like the same thing, and rotate that just a little bit on the Z axis. Yes, alright. Also I want a bottle to be rotated a little bit on the side, just like that, not that much. Yeah, perfect. So for lighting, I'll try to keep it as simple and easy and good as possible. So the first light will target the front side, then we are going to add the highlight in here, then we finish in that by adding another light in the back with a blue color to make the bottle stand out. To make the bottle more interesting and stand out. So let's see. Alright, so shift, let's delete this light, so shift A, and we are going to use the 3D cursor a lot, so just to let you know. So shift A, and then area light, rotate that and move it to the side, just like that, and rotate that to face the bottle. I'll scale it on the x-axis, scale it on the y, and I'm gonna try to catch some shadows on the label. Alright, I'll take the strength a little bit down for now. Let me scale that. Alright, and then move it a little bit up. Here we go. Next we are going to add another light, this time with a blue color. You just rotate it, G, and place it in the back. As you see, the effect inside the bottle, this is what I'm looking for. Like, see the before and the after, a huge difference. You can also scale that and control like the parts that you want to be shiny. For example, you see, I've moved it to the side, this part have light, and then move it to the other side, like you have control. For this one, let's try to move it back and position it in a good way. But first, let's give that a blue color, like I have in here, the hex code. So just like Control C, come to here, Control V, and copy it. As you see, let's move it forward, side. So now the bottle looks way better. Like, see the difference? Sick. So try to move it up if you need. Okay, highly recommend you to tweak that. Alright. So next we are going to add the highlight. So Shift A, add an area light and place it in the side. This time going to the other side from here. Try to scale that on the X. I just want a small line in here. As you see, they want also to sort of come from the top angle, like in here. Sorry. So try to rotate that just like that. You see, this is what I'm looking for, this light in this part. adjust the strength, and then move it to the side. Try to scale it on the x-axis. Yeah. Yes. Increase again the strength of your light. And move it down. We'll just keep it like that. Yeah, I think it's perfect. We are done. We are done with lighting the bottle. Now let's light the ground. Let's, like, in case you want to give some light to the ground, like, and catching those particles. So you just need to go to here. We are going to add an area light. Like, I'm placing the 3D cursor in the part that I want to add the light. Like, I'm holding shift, left click, and click. Add an area light, rotate that, move it to the side, and in here in the spread I'll try to drop it. I want some harsh shadows in there. Also I'll take the strength a little bit down, because now lets me increase the particles number in here and set the percentage. Yeah, I feel like they are a little bit bigger, so I'll scale that one more time. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. You can also take it, bro. This is slowing down my viewport. Let me take this to 15. Alright, so let me now place it in here. Control M, and see, you can, for example, take it and place it in a part and catch some shadows. And catch some shadows. Yeah. Yeah, also this one looks good. Alright, that's it, I think, for this one. I think it's perfect. Just keep tweaking the lighting is everything. So just keep playing. Try to keep your light as simple as possible, and try to use the light to drag the attention. And don't worry if you have too much darkness, like like, I don't know why people don't like dark shadows. Like I feel like those the dark shadows are helping to drag the attention to the brightest part. Like, let me just show you. For example, if we have in here, just do like, if we have in here a light in the front, you see that? See that how the attention has been removed from the bottle? Like, see the difference between this and this? So just keep in mind. Alright, that's it. I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you on the next class.